Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Mortgage Coach Tuesday morning sales call. We're here every Tuesday morning to deliver value. I'm always bringing in great authors, industry leaders, and today is no exception. So we have Mr. Jeremy Forcier. Jeremy is no stranger to the Mortgage Coach community. I don't know if there's anyone I've interviewed more, and I don't know that there's anyone that the Mortgage Coach community loves more than Jeremy. Jeremy, welcome to the call, brother.
What up, Savage? How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. It's good to have you.
Sweet.
Good. Well, we've got a lot of great guests throughout the month, so make sure you check it out. My name is Dave Savage. I'm the CEO of Mortgage Coach. Hopefully everybody on this call, you connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and you've downloaded all the Mortgage Coach apps. Hopefully you're going to connect with Jeremy Forcier if you haven't already in social land. So as we kick off today's call, I always think it's a good idea to remind you of the Mortgage Coach values. We are dedicated to wowing ourselves internally as a company and you as members, and providing you with technology and tools so that you can wow your realtors and borrowers. And we've always done that through education, and we've always done that by just excellence. Try to do everything that we do at the highest possible level. So reminder to everybody, we do a morning a call every single weekday, the first 3 weeks of the month. So Jeremy, any new loan officers you're bringing in, they should go to the basics class. There's always a strategy to learn. And if someone's created more than 20 reports and they want to get some, 102, they should go to our 2 o'clock course. So every day there's training going on, but today is about going big with Jeremy. So Jeremy, I know I'm going to pass off the baton to you in just a minute, but before I do that, I don't even know that you realize how much influence and impact you have with so many Mortgage Coach professionals. But this is a video, you and I did an interview. We edited it down to like 4 minutes and 43 seconds. Did you know that thing's been watched over 1,900 times?
No, that's awesome. I'm glad that that's of value. That's really cool. I had no idea.
Yeah, I actually, when I was preparing for this call, I was just going through some past calls that we've done and just thinking of all the value and impact. Not only were hundreds of people on that call, but thousands have listened to it since then. Also, one of the videos that I created as a training call with Josh Metal, this is a great you're new to Mortgage Coach, how to sell with Mortgage Coach. This call was done, and Jeremy did a follow-up call with that. I don't know if you remember this call we did with Josh, but you were a big, I'd say, a key leader in getting Josh to even become a Mortgage Coach. Do you recall that?
I do. I totally remember, man. I had a couple conversations with him. I remember hopping on a conference call with all of us, and that's really cool, man. I mean, Josh is such a powerhouse in general, and it's always awesome to be able to add a little sliver of value to someone who's just absolutely killing it. So yes, I totally remember that. It was a really, really cool thing.
Yeah, no, again, Jeremy, you've delivered a lot of value. I did want to showcase, because so many people on this call are friends of Jeremy's, fans of Jeremy's, we created a playlist so that some of the best videos we've done with Jeremy, we're always kind of put them and organize them in a way that they're valuable to you as members. So whether it's the best calls of 2015, whether it's something that's just scripts, advanced training, we're always trying to organize that in our YouTube page so that you guys can find it. But there are 7 videos that we have positioned as Jeremy's best, kind of the best from Jeremy, and they'll help you sell better with Mortgage Coach. So I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. Also, I want to focus today's call, Jeremy. I know you've got a presentation to walk everybody through, but this call is just all about how a Mortgage Coach can deliver value to a realtor. I'm at the Mastermind event, and actually 20 minutes after this presentation, I'm going to go down and watch Ken DeLeon, the nation's #1 realtor, present, and I did an interview with Ken. So in the whole spirit of giving value in today's call and telling you where you can go get value afterwards, this is just another awesome video. Jeremy, I don't recall, have you watched this? Are you aware of this video, this particular one?
Yes.
Yeah, so you don't happen to recall any of the takeaways or values that you've gotten from Ken over the years?
I mean, really, it comes down to speed, communication, clarity, and being a professional. And, I mean, using the Mortgage Coach in the video, especially within the Mortgage Coach, is always going to be able to transfer trust a lot faster. And when you're the #1 real estate agent, in America, it's very, very important that the transfer of trust happens quickly, and that they have something that they can reference over and over again. So, I mean, Ken's the man, just straight up. So if you guys haven't taken a look at this, make sure that you do.
Right on, Jeremy. So the last kind of heads up as we get into your call, and I hand off the baton. I don't know if you had a chance. I know you're good friends with Sam Hansen because I had dinner with him last night, and he was raving about you and all the things he's learned from you. But one of the things those guys are doing, and I'm curious if you're doing this at all, is they're using Mortgage Coach as what they call a counter offer analysis, so that when, let's say, the buyer is making an offer to buy a property, they are, and the seller wants a higher price, they're doing a Mortgage Coach analysis to really break down what the difference in payment is, and what the cost over time is. Because sometimes, people look at the purchase price, it's $10,000 different, but when you really break that down in terms of monthly payment and cost over time, it's really not a big deal. Do you ever do those, call it the counter offer analysis? Is that something
I
you've
do.
done before?
I absolutely do. What is just so awesome seeing in the industry and specifically in the Mortgage Coach community is how people are really taking the time to create a strategy that's branded. So, like, I do a counteroffer analysis a lot, but I'm not nearly as good and proactive as, like, the Hansen team, where they have a strategy around it. Here's what it's called. Here's what we're going to do. And I want everyone to know on the call that that's okay. If you're sitting here always and you're like going, man, I have so much to do, it's just about being a little bit better. And I'm going to talk about this in my presentation in a little bit. But it's just about getting 1% better every single week. It's not about completely redoing everything. So the answer to your question, David, is yes, I do them, but I am just shocked about how good they are at creating a strategy around that rather than I'm a lot more reactive to it, right? So I'm not nearly as proactive about it, showing them what it's going to mean if they do get a counteroffer, and here's the breakdown, here's the tax deductibility. It's usually when someone calls me in distress or I get the email of, oh, God, we're maxed out at 350. I don't want to go over that. Now they want 359, and I'm thinking about walking. That's usually when I'm inserting myself, and it's more from a place of reaction, and it's something that I have to be better at.
What about one more strategy that they're doing that I thought I wanted to shine a light on is what they call the cross-qualification analysis. So they have big listing agents that require their buyers to get pre-approved with them. They say they're getting about 15 of those a week. And a lot of them, they're providing a total cost analysis when they deliver that. And then they're converting some of those into buyers. Are you doing that with any of your agents? Or maybe calling it something different?
You know what? I'm not. I used to do that, and I stopped doing it simply from the fact that I felt that I'm not staffed for it with how many loans that we're doing right now, because the conversion on those for me were low, and it felt like a higher pressure type situation. So I think that if you can execute it and you're staffed appropriately to handle it, it's brilliant. I'm just not in a position right now. I still have the bandwidth to do that. But it's a great way to pick up incremental business rather than, once again, where I'm coming from is more of a place of reaction of I just get deals all the time that are like falling out or having trouble, right? Rather than winning them up front. I'm calling my realtors every single week and saying a script like this: hey, Dave, it's Jeremy Forcier, People's Home Equity. Hey, just wanted to check in and see how your weekend was. Hey, if you have any deals right now that are giving you trouble on any of your listings and or any buyers that you're handling right now, just always remember that I'm more than happy to jump in and have a quick look at where the person's at, if we can offer them a solution, et cetera, et cetera. So that is my answer to the cross-qualifier, and it does work, by the way. I mean, I closed 4 transactions last month that were basically fallouts or transactions that were having issues with other lenders. But it's much more of a reactive rather than proactive. So once again, I got to be a lot better with that stuff.
The beautiful thing about you, Jeremy, you're crushing it, and by I think everybody's standards, you're a role model to so many, and here you are. How can I get better? So let's get into the conversation. For anybody who hasn't heard from you before, Jeremy, and also folks would just love to know what kind of production you're doing nowadays, if you could just let everybody know what market you're in, give us a little kind of rundown on your mortgage practice, and then let's get into your Raving Fan program.
All right, cool. No, it's my pleasure. So I am located in Northern California. I work out of the Sonoma County market, but I am not hyper-local. I think that is important for everyone to know, is that I think that with the way the industry is changing, growing, et cetera, that it's very important for us to cast a wider net from an area perspective and then choose the people that we work with and go deeper. So I believe that local is defined as if I can get there in an hour in my car, it's local. So I work the greater, San Francisco Bay Area. I've been in the business for 10 years now, which is cool. I can't say I'm a rookie anymore. I realized that a year and a half ago. I'm like, I'm not new anymore. So 10 years in the business, having a freaking great year, just having a lot of fun, a lot of pain, a lot of problems, but all good stuff. Okay, so we're just coming off of 3 incredible months where we did, 10 million, 8 million, 18 million, and then last month 9 million in volume. And what I'm more proud of is the units. We're trying to get our units up as well. So we're at 171 units year to date, and we're just having a great time.
Right on, man. Well, those are impressive numbers, brother. Can't wait to hear how you're doing it. I know you've got a program that you're doing with realtors around how you're creating Raving Fans and the leadership you're providing them to create Raving Fans. So I want to pass the baton to you, and if you could frame it with, what is it that you're walking us through, and then walk us through your Raving Fan program.
All right, you got it. So we're going to show my screen.
I'll tell you when we see it. Boom. We see your email.
All right, so why is the presentation not up? Hey, Dave, can you do me a big favor? Can you go back to show your screen, and I'm going to set the table and see where my PowerPoint went real quick.
Yeah, no problem, man. And awesome. If you might have two monitors, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, no problem. So real simple is that what I'm going to talk about here for the next 25 minutes is a presentation, not only that is working really, really well for me, but it's been a philosophy that I've tried to follow for a number of years, and I realized at the beginning of the year this year that I got away from it, okay? That I had gotten away from, like, my belief that service has to be high and it has to be better than the competitions, and that ultimately that is what is going to make a difference in my business. So have you ever read the book Raving Fans, Dave?
I absolutely have read the book and a huge fan of it.
So it's a classic. It's written by a gentleman named Ken Blanchard, and it's really just all about how can we be different? How can we go the extra mile? How can we build a vision? How do we find out what our customers want? And how can we deliver something called +1 service? So when I started looking at my realtor partners' businesses and what they were going through, and I'm always trying to figure out how can I be more valuable to them. So a big part of my business model is and always has been how can I be better at my realtor's job, than they are. So if I can be better than they are at their job, whether that's lead generation, whether that's lead follow-up, whatever it may be, I'm going to be extremely valuable to them. So that's what inspired me about creating this Raving Fan presentation. And I have given this presentation now, I don't even know how many times, probably almost 20 times, via lunch and learns, for business people. I've done it for a ton of realtors. I've done it for real estate offices, and it's been something that's kind of caught fire that I am very proud of, and that's quite frankly impactful in people's businesses. So my computer is bringing up this PowerPoint. I don't know why it's taking so long to load. All right, so I got it up now, so you can go ahead and give it back to me, Dave, and we should be good to go here.
Right on. I will tell you when I see it, Jeremy. So again, everybody, just to connect the dots, Jeremy is out providing lunch and learns. He's a speaker in his local community where he's providing coaching, mentoring, and inspiration to realtors. So what he's going to walk us through is a presentation that he's using in his local marketplace to deliver value and leadership. Can't wait to check it out.
All right, cool. You guys should be able to see me
boom,
now.
We see it.
All right, cool. So, real simple. So, Raving, this is the actual presentation that I use and that you will all get a copy of. I have sent it to Dave and told him he could send it to all of you. And I really highly encourage you all to actually use this, okay? To actually take this presentation and execute it in your marketplace. It's only 13 slides. It's not a super long presentation, and I insert Mortgage Coach into this presentation. They're really just visuals and talking points. So, Raving Fans, okay, don't settle for satisfied customers. So, one thing that I am very, very, very clear on is that companies that are successful, okay, the number one thing that companies realize that are truly successful is that it's not about customer satisfaction, okay? That customer satisfaction has to be like par. So we always have to figure out a way to go above and beyond. Now, when you think about customer satisfaction versus a picture like this, so this is a photo of what's called the black hole. So Dave, I don't know if you're familiar with the Oakland Raiders, formerly Los Angeles Raiders, but their team is horrible, right? I mean, they're just terrible. They've been a terrible organization for as long as I can remember, and I've been on this earth for 35 years.
Well, I'm a Bronco fan, so even when they were good, they've been terrible.
And I'm a Niner fan, so
right.
I hate them as well. Now, with that said, there's a lot to learn though about the Oakland Raiders. Okay, look at this picture right now. When you see this picture, you have people dressed up. You have fanatics about their team. So what we're really looking for in a successful business and in our practice is how do we create overwhelming loyalty, not customer satisfaction. Like these people are extremely, extremely loyal. So customer satisfaction is just not enough. I mean, it really, really isn't. With how great technology is right now, with what people can offer from a pricing standpoint, we really have to figure out how to keep loyal customers. So Dave, this is a funny question that I like to ask people, and I do this in my presentation. So I'm always going to ask them, let me put it like this, you guys. So Dave, you're married, right?
I am.
So would you rather have your wife be satisfied or loyal?
Both.
Both, right? But if you had to pick one, would you rather have her be loyal to you forever in a loving relationship, or would you rather just have her be satisfied?
Well, of course, loyalty.
Right, loyalty, right? So one of my favorite quotes of all time is from Jeffrey Gitomer, and it's customer satisfaction is worthless and customer loyalty is priceless. You see, the premise of Raving Fans is to build a sales force within the community of people that you affect that are going to come back to you whenever they need anything, and that are also going to go out and be your sales force in the marketplace for you. Tell all their friends and family about you. Tell all their coworkers about you. Tell everyone that they have influence over that you are the person that they should work with if they are looking for a mortgage or anything real estate related. And to take that even a step further, if they need anything at all. So one of the things that I am most proud of in my business is that I've been very focused in the last 2 years on my VIP list. So I have a VIP list of my top 50 favorite people, and I am not great at this still, you guys. I have to constantly focus on it on a quarterly basis and realize that I'm coming up short. But trying to figure out what those top 50 favorite people in my database like, what they love, trying to go deeper into relationship with them, it's not easy, but it's worth the work, okay, to have that type of loyalty to your customers as well. So pouring into the people that love you and that you like the most is going to create overwhelming loyalty and way more referrals than you can ever deal with. So here are some facts about our business and about businesses in general. The number one fact is that expectations are really low, okay? Expectations are really low. So people don't have very high expectations of a mortgage broker, mortgage banker, all right? They think it's going to be painful. They think that we're liars, that we're trying to make more money on a deal even though we can't. Their expectations are super low of what the experience is going to be like. Okay, it's very important for all of us to know that. Number two is that most companies, when I say companies, I'm talking about us as well, most companies just straight up suck at it, man. They stink. Like, they're not good on delivering overwhelming value to a customer. So that is a good thing for us, okay? Is because our competition, and most of us aren't good at this, that doesn't mean that we need to be like 100% better than our competition. It means we just need to be a little bit better to stand out and make a difference, okay? Number three is that we think in terms of price and not value. This is something that Mortgage Coach has ingrained in my soul, Dave, over the last 7 years, is that you have to always think in terms of value, not price, not what you're going to make, not what your interest rate is from a commodity standpoint, but what is the value that you are giving to this other person, and how do we transfer that value so it's easy for people to recognize and understand that you are a valuable resource. Number four is that we abuse customers. We just do. I mean, we do not treat them well. We don't treat them like the kings and queens that we should, right? Now that's with a grain of salt, because there are some people that shouldn't be treated like that, but I mean, that makes up maybe 20% of the customers that we talk to, right? Most everyone else, when there's a challenge or something that comes up, I want everyone to write this down, all right? It's my fault. It's my problem. It's my fault. It's my problem, okay? So when we make a mistake, it is our fault, and then there's a problem that we have to deal with. But what's more important that I want you to write down is that it's not my fault. It's still my problem. It's not my fault, but it's still my problem. So, for example, when someone tells me they make $20,000 a month on a loan application, they get into contract and they get me all of their tax returns 3 days later and they make $2,000 a month. Is that my fault? No, not my fault at all. Is it still my problem? Is it still something that I have to address with respect, with grace, with dignity? Yes, okay? So it's very important to know that we abuse our customers that we make a living from, and we especially abuse our customers that really we can't qualify or can't help, but they're still our customers, okay? So if it's not your fault, it's still your problem. Always remember that, all right? And number five is that we focus too much on the facts and not on the feel. So I am a feeler, okay? I haven't always been a feeler. I used to always be way more black and white, and I was just always focused on facts, on data, on, nope, this is that way, this is that way, this is your fault, and this is what we can do. I am now 100% convinced, I made a huge transition in my business over the last 5 years, of always focusing on how the person feels. How are they going to feel when I deliver good information? How are they going to feel when I deliver difficult information? How am I going to get them to do what I want and need them to do and have them feel good about it? Okay, so we always need to focus more on the feel, and the more that we can do that, the more success that we're going to have. So I'm just going to go through 3 secrets to creating raving fans, okay? Number one is you need to decide what it is going to look like. That all starts with a vision, okay? That starts with a vision of what you want your business to look like. So in the book, Raving Fans, so the book, by the way, if you haven't read it, there's a guy going into a mid-level management position at a company that's in disarray, okay? And I'm going to really give super high-level cliff notes of this and bomb through it. Highly recommend you get the book. It's written in a novel style. Think of like a Christmas Story and Scrooged, and there's a fairy godmother that comes and takes this gentleman that's going through this hard transition in a company, can't understand why things aren't working and are in disarray, and shows him some other companies that are just absolutely killing it, and are very different in why they are. So one of the featured companies was a supermarket, okay? So this fairy godmother takes this gentleman to a supermarket, and the first thing that happens is, by the way, Dave, how fun is it to go grocery shopping?
I guess it depends on where you go, but I personally like shopping on the weekends.
Cool. So going to the grocery store And I always say that it's easy and I like it. And then I ask my wife that question. She's like, "You're high. You barely go, and when you do go, it's on your own time." And she just let me have it, right? So the
Well,
reality
yeah, and I do fit into that category. I
so,
go
so
to go
totally, right?
shop
I
for a
said the
fun
same
meal.
thing. I said the same thing that you said, Dave. I was like, "Oh, I love going. I'm going to go check out the meat counter." And Kara's like, "Listen, we
Right.
go like once a month, okay? Like going to the grocery store in general can be very frustrating. It starts with the parking lot, right? The parking situation. Imagine if you are a single parent or you have to get home and pick up your kids from daycare, but you have to get to the grocery store. You only have 20 minutes. You have a list of 20 items that you need, and it takes you 10 minutes to find a freaking parking space. Okay? It can be a very stressful situation. So in the book, they highlight this supermarket, okay, that the first thing that happens when you pull up is that there is valet, right? So there is a valet for every single person that shops at this supermarket that meets you. It's complimentary. They take your car and they park it, all right? So right out of the gate, efficiency. Okay, you can walk right in. As soon as you walk into this supermarket, there are concierges everywhere asking if you have a supermarket list. And if you do have a list, you want help with us organizing it so you know the most efficient way to go get everything that you need. There are people there that are concierges that say that, "Hey, we're happy to go help you find anything you need. And if you have any questions, let us know." There's a nutritional desk with a full-time nutritionist that you can walk over and ask any questions you want about any of the food that is offered in this supermarket. There is a daycare in this supermarket because how easy is it to shop with a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old and a 6-year-old? It's not easy. It can be frustrating. It's hard when your kid's standing in line. It's a true story that happened to me, by the way, Dave, which is my daughter Skylar she was 4 years old, and then I had my 1-year-old Mia with me. And I remember we're standing in line, and 4-year-olds grabbing the candy and stuff. I have the 1-year-old and baby Bjorn, and I'm trying to get checked out, and I keep telling Skylar, my 4-year-old at the time, that put that down. And I remember just grabbing the candy out of her hand and putting it down, and she stops and says this in front of everyone: "Don't hit me." I have never hit my kid in my entire life to this day. And I'm looking around going, like trying to justify making eye contact. Like, I don't hit. I'm not a hitter. But the point is that it's stressful, right? So this supermarket has daycare. So the point that I'm making here is that the owner of this supermarket had an incredible vision, okay, of what they wanted it to look like. And we in our mortgage practice have to be able to take time out and always focus on our vision. What do we really want to look like? Write this down. Don't be afraid to dream. And don't be afraid to dream on paper, okay? I revisit my vision all the time. What touch points do I want to happen in the process? My vision had a lot to do with mortgage coach and how I was going to use mortgage coach in my practice, right? I want to make sure that every single person that I ever talk to is going to get an edge total cost analysis with a video link, okay? So that they can see, touch, feel, and experience that different touch point in my process. I want to make sure there's a follow-up call every 2 days after I send that. I could go on and on and on about my vision and my loan process, but you have to make your own vision for what you want the customer experience to look like. Do that first, and then you have to break it down into a process. And a process is defined, by the way, as anything that is going to happen 90% of the time. Okay? Anything that is going to happen 90% of the time is a process. So make an incredible vision with touch points in it. Okay? That's number one. Number two, and a secret to creating Raving Fans is discover what your customers really want. So now you've created your vision. Okay? You know exactly what you want it to look like. But it's really important to understand what your customers really want, right? So calling your customers and interviewing them and asking them, how did the process go? So we do this with every single closing that we have, whether it was a great closing or an ugly closing, whether it was a pain in the butt borrower that we don't even want to work with ever again, or whether it was like an all-time Raving fan who's given us compliments the whole time. It's really important to know what your customers want and where you're coming up short. The reason why that's so important is that you have to make sure that your vision is in alignment with what a majority of your customers want. And the only way to know is by asking them and paying attention and getting the direct feedback from them so that you can customize and cater to them. Now, this comes with a caveat, okay, because not everyone is going to be a good fit in your model. There are going to be some people that are what they really want is so far from what your vision is that it's not a model match. And you have to know that that is a good thing. It is good to say no sometimes, because when you're saying no, this isn't a good fit, you're actually saying yes to abundance with everyone else that's going to want a part of your vision and what you want to deliver. Okay, so the platinum rule, so we all know what the golden rule is. Golden rule is treat others how you want to be treated. The platinum rule is treat others how they want to be treated. We need to stop thinking in terms of us. Okay, that's not valuable. And remember, the key is how are we going to deliver overwhelming value to the customers. So a great example of this is Southwest Airlines. Okay, so when Southwest Airlines 15 years ago decided that they were going to do a massive change in their business model, and that they were going to go through and that's when they created the no assigned seating. They trained all of their employees to, hey, we want to have a little bit more fun. That's why people can make jokes, you know, like the stewards and stewardess, the airline flight attendants can go ahead and, you know, do rap songs. I'm sure we've all seen videos, or we've all been on a Southwest airline plane where they're trying to make it a more fun environment, okay, where everyone is going to have a good time, that is going to be served well, and that they, if any request that they ask for, as long as they do have the ability to deliver it, that they will. So whenever there is massive change in a vision in any company and in yours, you are going to upset certain people that that vision is not going to be in alignment with anymore. So there was a woman who flew Southwest Airlines for many years before they made this change, and she, you know, she's just a pain in the butt, long story short, and she did not like this new change. She didn't understand why it had to be more fun. She didn't understand why there wasn't assigned seating anymore. She didn't understand why they wanted to make this change, and she just wanted to get to and from her destinations for work, and that was it. And she doesn't care about them being a low-price leader, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So she emailed a complaint every single month for 7 months to Southwest Airlines. So on the 7th month, the complaint got all the way up to the owner and CEO of the company, and he responded personally to her. And his response was brilliant. His response was simply, Susie, best of luck with your future endeavors. Obviously, we are not a good fit. That was it. The reason I share that with you is that it's really important to say no. Okay, there are going to be some people that aren't going to fit your vision. There are going to be some people that I work with who are like, yeah, that report that you sent me, you know, I don't understand it. I had one yesterday, right? And my response was simply, rather than going, hey, no problem, let's go through the numbers, I'll type it all out for you in an email, my response was, hey, click on the link. There's a video that actually explains it all, right? Push back, push back. That person did go ahead and watch the video and then had a more pointed question that fit into my process and my vision. If that person would have responded with, no, I'm not going to watch the video, I'm not going to do it, listen, it's not a good fit. Okay, it's just not. If someone's going to beat me up and be a pain in the butt throughout the whole process, and it doesn't work within my model and my vision, okay? So don't do, you can't do your job 100 different ways for 100 different people. You have to do it the same way every single time in a process to create consistency and predictability. And then number 3, secret to creating Raving Fans, is deliver your vision plus 1%. So I call this the plus 1 theory. So plus 1 has 2 different meanings. I already stated in the beginning that people have really low expectations, okay? And our competition sucks for the most part, meaning they're not using video, they're not using Mortgage Coach Edge, they're not doing counter offer analysis, they're not doing you know, a dual application analysis, they're not doing any of that stuff. All right, that is all plus 1. Simply using the Mortgage Coach software is plus 1. But we have to know a lot about what our customers want to give them plus 1. Plus 1 was the supermarket, right? Having all that stuff available to everyone that's a resource, that's valuable to them when they walk in. That's plus 1%, right? Raiders one of the worst organizations ever in the history from a win-loss percentage standpoint, and has the second highest grossing product in the NFL as far as gear and swag and all that stuff every year, year in, year out, because their customers are unbelievably loyal to them because they've given the customer exactly what they want, okay, and what they're looking for. They've executed on their vision. So Deliver Plus One is making your process, and listen, if you're not using Mortgage Coach Edge every single time, you are not giving Plus One. That is a very easy thing to insert into your process that you use every single time. Become religious about it. It is not difficult. It is easy to execute, and it creates overwhelming value, not only to the customer, but selfishly to you, from a productivity standpoint, from a clarity standpoint, from a I'm different loan officer standpoint. Okay, so plus 1% is going above and beyond and being just a little bit better than the competition. Remember, you don't have to be 100% better. You just have to be 1% better, and you will stand out. The other idea of plus one is that you don't want to sacrifice the integrity of your business and your current clientele just for the sake of growth. Okay, I've been a victim of this in the past, where I was so focused on growth that I really, did a lot of damage to some relationships. And you have to always focus on trying to make little steps that are laid out over a longer period of time. Don't focus on trying to change your whole business in 1 month or 1 week or 1 day. Make sure that you have a 12-month plan and that you're slowly checking things off the list, all right? It's much more difficult to make a plan and be consistent with it and check the items off that you want to implement every single month, because it forces you to be present in your business. It's a lot easier to for me to walk into my staff today and go, all right, everybody, we're changing the whole process. Here's exactly what we're doing, and scratch everything that we've done up there. We're going to start this new process today. You're going to alienate everyone on your team. You're going to have a poor customer experiences with your customers, and it just doesn't work. So you never want to sacrifice the feel, once again, with your current business, how you built it, who your customers are, how's the communication been, just for the sake of radical growth, okay? So, Dave, that is the simple presentation. You guys can use this, by the way, with groups of real estate agents, business professionals, customers. It is an awesome presentation that I give you all permission. Feel free to steal it, swipe it, adapt it, do whatever you want. But it's very important that we know that, number one, we have to create customer loyalty. Okay, number two, it starts with you creating a vision. Number three, get customer feedback so you know how to tweak that vision and put things in there that customers really want. So like when a customer says, we want better communication. We felt like the communication wasn't great. I'm like, okay, so if you're not using Mortgage Coach Edge video, boom, plug that in. It's a great form of communication. You can usually answer any questions and counter objections, especially now with the new mobile app. I used it yesterday, where if someone had a question, I could just re-record right from my phone and answer to their question and resend them the link. Hey, refresh the link now. I just sent you a video message in there. Okay, use video, use technology, use Edge as one of those process value added points. All right, so vision, customer feedback, and then last but not least, making sure that your vision and processes incorporate plus one, going above and beyond for your customers to create a sales force that will work for you forever.
Jeremy, this is so brilliant. You've taken a book that I think if every realtor hasn't read it, they should read it, and they know they should read it. And then you've broken down what are the key takeaways, and then you're just coming in and delivering this leadership in a way that positions yourself as a leader, in a way that delivers them value, and in a way that you're basically saying how great you are. You're giving a sales pitch, but you're delivering this leadership. So I mean, it makes tons of sense. I can see how this is so successful for you. So Jeremy, so you're saying the presentation you gave me, we can share that with other Mortgage Coach members?
Absolutely. You guys feel free just to copy all the slides and put them on your own PowerPoint, take out my information, use the same exact, you can change it if you want to, but if you notice, it was really simple, and that's critical as well, right? It has to be simple. Keep it really, really simple if you're going to use it. Don't make it too complicated. Don't add 40 slides. Keep it short and sweet so that you can leave room for questions. Because what I'm trying to do in this presentation, just like I'm trying to do with all of you on the call right now, is I'm trying to make you think. okay? That's where the real power is. If you can make someone think differently and question how they're doing things and how they can be better, you are giving tremendous amount of value, and you will get questions. So the last time I did this 2 weeks ago for a group of 16 real estate agents at a lunch and learn at a local restaurant. Brought them in, everyone ordered lunch, and I did this presentation. So the presentation took me about 30 minutes to go through. And I don't know if you noticed how I did with you, but I did a lot more with them. I inserted a lot of, after I talked about the book, here's an example of how we do it in our business. So every time you refer, someone, you're always going to get a phone call and an email with an update of when we have an appointment, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to get great communication. Once the loan gets approved, they're always going to get, Mrs. Fields cookies sent to their office, sent from both of us. That way, we are thanking them. We always want to honor the approval because that's the best time to get referrals. And why would we send something to their house when we can send cookies they can share with everyone else in the office? I can't tell you that $18, you guys, that I spend on every approval for a dozen Mrs. Fields cookies delivered to an office, how many emails I get back, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the cookies, nice touch, that was really incredible, that was sweet. My coworker next door asked me, how come I didn't get cookies for my loan officer? Like, it's simple stuff, right? And you can insert examples without shameless self-promotion to give them ideas of what they can do in their business. So keep it simple, use it. Dave, absolutely make it available to people in the community. And if people have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them and or help in any way.
Right on. So we will put a download to this when we upload this video into our YouTube channel. Within the description of that video, there will be a link to this. So FYI on that. So one thing I want to make sure we cover, Jeremy mentioned our new video app, and next week's coaching call is just going to be video simplified. So we're going to spend the call going through simple examples to create videos that are useful to clients. So I'm going to invite some mortgage coach leaders, come in, share a success story. If you're on the call right now and you've got a 3 to 5 minute way that you're using Mortgage Coach video, email me at dave@mortgagecoach. I'm going to invite a few mortgage coaches to join me on this call, but we're going to be bringing that leadership. I would like to know who on the call so far has created a video on their mobile app. So I have pushed this. I think I asked this question last week, and I can see that the numbers are a little bit better. Jeremy, you created one the other day?
Yeah, I just created one yesterday. It was really, really simple, easy to do.
Cool. Well, something important for everybody to note is that not only is it easy to do, the actual quality of the video it's better. When you record it from your iPhone, it's a higher resolution picture. The sound is better. I mean, Apple's done a great job of creating, pretty much, no doubt, the world's most used camera, but I think it's one of the best. So when you use it, it's just higher quality. So if you didn't know how to do it, go to the Mortgage Coach app, and you'll see that person in the upper left-hand corner. Click on that. That'll take you to a login. So as a Mortgage Coach Pro, you log in, and now you have a whole bunch of new superpowers. You can, go and search an analysis. So if you just want to look something up while you're on the road, it's a great way to pull up a scenario that you gave to someone in your back pocket. So it's a great search to identify that. And then you can drive Edge Live. So if you click on live reporting, that's actually controlling the screen of the client who's viewing it. So if there was a realtor and a borrower at the same time looking at it, they'd both see it. If it was a husband and wife in two different locations, they'd see it. But the video feature, click on video. And the cool thing about the video, to Jeremy's point, you could have created a video at pre-qual, and then you could be out and about, and there's a change of circumstances, they put it in escrow. You can go re-record that video, repost it, and within a matter of 5 minutes, that client has an updated video. So part of our goal with TRID coming to town is to make it easier for you to communicate with your borrower and your realtor, to set expectations with them, and to educate them, and for them to all be on the same sheet of music. So this Mortgage Coach, where we're putting graphs and charts. By the way, there is the replace and re-record button. Really super simple, and then also you can look at some KPIs. You can see not only how many reports you've created weekly and monthly, but how many times your clients are viewing this. So Jeremy, I want to make sure we net this out for everybody. We've given everybody a great lunch and learn presentation. Boom. We've provided some inspiration around around using Mortgage Coach and creating videos. I would love to know just, what is your scripting when you're talking to a realtor? What do you say so that they understand the value of Mortgage Coach? How's that integrated into a conversation with a realtor?
Sure. So I think it's great, and I use it frequently, especially with the newer realtor relationships. So I think we can all agree you always need to be prospecting for new relationships, okay? Because relationships change over time. People's production goes up and down. People will leave you. Ones that you didn't even think will leave you at some point in the future. So it's always important to be prospecting new realtors. And the Mortgage Coach conversation is definitely one of my value-added points whenever I'm meeting with someone. So I met with a guy, Keith, last week, who's a new relationship with me. We hit it off. We were having a great conversation. And I always ask the 5 questions, which is the video that Dave was talking about earlier. I still use those same 5 questions. And then at the end, I summarize what his answers were, how we can deliver on that. And I tell them that, all I want to do is, earn your next 2 transactions. I don't expect you to give me everything right now. But the easiest way to see if we're a good fit is to try our process out. And then I explain my process, okay? And the Mortgage Coach videos and spreadsheets, TCAs, are part of my process, so I talk about that. I always say that, hey, every single client that we deal with, one of the things I've realized more and more over the years is that every year I meet with 10% less people face-to-face. It's true. It's just a fact. At some point, it will probably be 0. And I don't want it to be 0 necessarily. So I've had to find ways that how can I create a face-to-face interaction with someone who I'm probably never going to meet. So then I talk about Mortgage Coach. I say, well, I use this incredible software. I've used it for a very long time, where for every person that you refer me, they're going to get different quotes and different products and explanations of that in a link where when they click on it, it's going to show up either on their mobile phone, iPad, or in their browser with a video of me walking them through and explaining to them the different options that they have, what the pros and cons there are of those different options, so that they are crystal clear on what they qualify for, what the cost is, and what the rates are. And then I always say I'm more than happy to, if you want an example of that, I'd be more than happy to send you one so you can see what the template looks like, how I communicate with them, and then ultimately watch one of the videos that I send on the link and check it out and let me know what you think. So I am proactively explaining what I do and then offering them, hey, if you'd like to see one of them, I'm happy to send you one. And whenever they say, yes, send me one, they're all blown away, okay? And explaining to them that they're always going to be included on those communications to people. There's no financial information in there or anything like that. It's just simply keeping the team and everyone on the same page and that we are a team, and so that you know what I'm telling the borrower as well, so that there's never going to be a lack of communication during the process.
Love it. I mean, it's so simple. You framed it around, I have a process, this is my process, this is how I deliver mortgage options to your families and the people you serve. Would you like me to forward one so you can see for yourself? And,
Yeah.
and folks, we all know that when it comes to the mortgage transaction, the realtor is very important, especially if they're the referral partner. And then we know there's some other, family member, genius father-in-law that either influences the transaction or costs you extra conversations. So when you forward this link, it does save you time. Jeremy, if you could just really speak to the time savings perspective, because I know, a lot of Mortgage Coach professionals are saying, I don't have time to do a Mortgage Coach TCA. What do you say to the loan officer that says they don't have time to do this?
Number one, I'd say quit lying to yourself. I mean, come on. I don't have time. It's like, well, do you have time to do a 25-minute conversation with someone and trying to explain them what the rates are and why they can qualify this and why they can't qualify for this, and trying to explain that over the phone, and they're writing it down like on a napkin, and they're going to go share that with their spouse, and their spouse is going to have questions. Here's the thing. You don't have time to not do one. You have to do one every single time. It saves me an incredible amount of time. Let me give you some facts, okay? So fact number one is that it takes me approximately 5 minutes to create a video presentation with an edge that's customized to an individual. That 5 minutes includes the pricing out of the loan in my software, me selecting the different rates and programs that I'm going to present, input and email to them. So 5 minutes total. It is not a long time at all. Now within those 5 minutes too, and that includes the creation of the video, I am also countering 80% of anyone's objections in my video. We all know what the questions are going to be from the customers. What can I qualify for? Why can't I qualify for this? What do I need in order to get what I want? And why is this set up the way that it is? I can answer all of those questions in a 3-minute video, 2-minute video, minute and 30-second video, and send it out to them so that when they respond back to me, the question is either going to be very pointed and specific and easier for me to address from an efficiency standpoint, or they're just going to say, I like option number 2. Okay, so it gives you an opportunity to counter objections before they come up, to lead people to a right choice, and to get them to make a decision quickly.
Beautiful. So thanks, Jeremy. I think you crushed that. It saves time. You know, the only thing I would say is when you haven't created a mortgage coach report, the first 5 aren't necessarily that easy. The first 20, you know, may be a bit rough. But once you provided this conversation to 20 or more families, it's a huge time saver, and it's going to help you win a lot more business. So I know at one point, I think this is a question I asked you a while back, you were pre-framing mortgage coach, you know, when presenting to real estate offices, and it might be the exact same answer that you already said when presenting it to a realtor. But is there anything different about how you would present mortgage coach if you had integrated it into your lunch and learn or to an office, you know, when presenting in an office?
I probably wouldn't change anything. I just pre-framed that, you know, it's extremely valuable. I mean, communication, you guys, just so you know, is always the #1 hot button for any real estate agent, any borrower. It's something that is going to be a forever evolution in my business and all of your businesses, is how can we deliver better communication? And that's a very broad statement and thing to tackle. But at the end of the day, that really is the biggest issue in our industry and with every transaction, is how do we communicate for something to feel great? So I always pre-frame everyone with that, is that we have a process that's going to make you look great. By simply referring us, we're going to always make sure that the customer understands and feels good. From an aesthetic standpoint in what we send them, to an understanding in what we say to them in the video, to letting them know from an educational standpoint that things change daily, we can always update it, et cetera, et cetera. So I really just highlight and pre-frame that the reason why we do this, the edge analysis and the videos, really isn't for me. Trust me, it would be a lot easier if I could just go, so Dave, it was great talking to you. You're pre-approved for, you know, $400,000 and 3.5% down payment. Your rate's going to be 3.875%. Have a great day. Okay? Yeah, that's a lot easier to do. I also would probably close 20% of the business that I'm currently doing if that's how I would communicate that. So it's just framing it that we're going to make, #1, you look great. #2, you're going to be included on all of the communications throughout the process. #3, if you have any questions about it, you can ask and interject as well. And I'm always going to make sure to cross-sell my real estate agents. So whenever I'm talking to someone on the phone, I always honor first, oh, Dave, you referred to me by Susie Hurston. I love her. Incredible real estate agent. You couldn't be working with a better person. And I always highlight that in my videos as well. Hey, congratulations, you're pre-approved. Love that you're working with X Realtor. You couldn't be working with a better person. So it's just knowing that their customer is going to be taken care of with great communication, and that we're using technology to help foster that relationship.
Love it. So are you actually taking any apps or doing any pre-quals in realtor offices? I know you've done that over the years. Is that something that's in your wheelhouse right now?
No. So yes and no. Okay. So no, I'm not actually doing the apps or actual pre-quals in an office, but I do meet with clients in realtors' offices all the time. So I don't really even ever want to meet with a person until I know I can help them. Okay, so part of my process that I am very vigilant about and very disciplined, is that if I don't have a credit report and I don't have a DU or LP run, I'm not going to meet with that person. I'm not going to, because there's nothing even me to present to them yet. And I explain that to borrowers that, hey, I don't want to waste your time. Like, I don't want to create a fantasy and get your hopes up and be able to not deliver on expectations, but once I have this information and things are different. So it's just setting the right expectations. So no, I'm not doing like live applications in a real estate office. Yes, I am meeting with many borrowers at their realtor's office, and that gives you a great opportunity to build trust with the agent. That gives you a great opportunity for them to see exactly how you work. That gives them a great opportunity to give you feedback, and that also gives you a great opportunity to be exposed to a much larger group of people, aka realtors, that work in that office.
Got it. All right, well, let's get into a couple wrap-up thoughts. So want to remind everybody, every Tuesday we're providing sales leadership. I'm going to be focusing on videos next week, simple and easy ways to use video in the sales process. Every Thursday is tactical training, technical training, and every Friday is for beginners if you've created less than 20 mortgage coach reports. If you know someone or you are someone who would like to bring leadership on a Tuesday call, send me an email at dave@mortgagecoach. And the homework assignment for everybody on this call is create a mortgage coach video. Click on that link, log in, go to clients or go to a co-branded experience, click on it, click on the video, and record a video. And I would love for you guys to forward this to me. Right now, one of my number one mission and focus at Mortgage Coach over the next 2 weeks, really for the month of June, is raising the bar on how we create videos and videos that are valuable to realtors and borrowers, because we need to do that to prepare for TRID. So let me see examples of what you're doing. Any video that's created on a mobile, on our mobile app, I would love to see it. Email me at dave@mortgagecoach.com. So Jeremy, any final thoughts or words as we wrap up the call? Anything you want to share with everybody?
Final thought number one is that's a damn good picture of me when I was 25 years old. I'm 35 now. No, I would just say be a leader, you guys. Something I'm so focused on is two things: share pain and be real. Okay, the idea of like the unbelievable, consummate professional, polished, like nothing ever goes wrong type of presentations with people doesn't resonate with anyone anymore. Okay, don't be afraid to share some pain and be real with them, and create a process. Go into your vision a little bit more, and make sure you're using the tools that are already available to you. Like, there's no reason that we shouldn't be using Edge on every single quote that we ever do, from a compliance standpoint, from an efficiency standpoint. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Don't always go looking for the next shiny thing. Use what you already have. So that would be my closing statement, Dave.
Love it, Jeremy. Thanks for making time. I know how busy you are, brother. Keep crushing it out there. Can't wait to have you back in, and everybody will see you next Tuesday to focus on Video Simplified. Take care.